As soon as we
Okay, today is the 21st of July of 2017, and we are at the Archer Community Center in Archer, Florida. And we are interviewing Mrs. Bonnie Jones. Mrs. Jones, I'd like to know your relationship to Rosewood.
My mother family side is family tree. So I trace it back until 1870. Barnabas and Nancy Bradley were on the census, along with maybe 2 or 3 of the children, George, Liza, William. So I've been working on family trees probably since Roots came out, like
Wonderful.
in 1970 something.
What good information have you found?
Too much information.
Too much?
It's fascinating. It gets overwhelming because, some of the census were missing or burned in a fire in Washington, D.C. That was in the 1890s. But then I was able to go to the Florida state census, which came the 5-year period in between the federal census. So the federal census was like 1900, 1910. So Florida would have one 1905.
Yeah.
So, and then using a lot of the genealogy websites
Yes.
to obtain the information needed, and also talking to parents and other family matriarchs and patriarchs. So, and knowing certain family member names, was able to trace back got a lot of valuable information.
Excellent. Excellent. So you're really working on the family tree, and so I'm sure your big book is going to come out sometime soon.
Yes, I really want to do a lot of displays. I am very, I'm really a designer. I'm very creative, let's put it that way.
Yes.
So I'm currently building the Rosewood community from 1870 up until 1920.
Well, now there's a gentleman you probably need to meet. His name is Ed Tennant. I think his last name right. Ed has finished a dissertation on Rosewood, and most of his material is from the archaeology studies and so forth. And so he's recreating Rosewood too, and recreating it and with visuals and so forth.
Yes.
And
That's my plans too, to do the visual, since I have my sister, a fine arts major, and my niece, and plus I can sketch, but they paint and do all of the interesting things to create the village, the different scenes from Rosewood, like people at church and the games that kids would be playing in the time period. So it's very interesting. It's just a lot to do, but I'm trying to get through it.
It's so worthy. It is so worthy.
Currently, we have sketches of those things, the dress wear and hairstyles, and I guess the furnishings, how it appear for that era. So.
Well, it would be really a help for African Americans, not just African Americans, but people in general, to see that time span and to see African Americans in a positive role, not only as a positive role, but people who were doing very well in society.
Yes.
That's another good point. Because so many times we're displayed as not doing very well. So this is good. Now, can you tell me the relationship of your family in Rosewood? I mean, were you the Bradleys, the Colemans? I mean, I'm just...
we're the Bradleys. We descendants of Barnabas and Nancy Bradley. They had 10 kids. The oldest one was George. And there's Liza, William, there's Lucy, which is my great grandmother, and there's Lucinda, there's John Wesley, James, and there's a Mary, and there's a James is the baby.
We have a picture of John Wesley.
Yes, I
Right
have
there.
that.
You have that picture.
Yes, and there was a
Do you have
picture.
any of the other family members?
Yes, I have some pictures from George, one of the brothers, George, from May. When they,
Yes. May McDonald?
yes,
Uh-huh.
There you go.
I have a lot of pictures
That's
from
the
her, and I
longest
have pictures from my cousin Janie,
Give me that
she's
long
a
face.
son of John Wesley.
John Wesley, that's right.
And there's
Oh, that is beautiful. Oh, that is so
Cindy are
beautiful.
married, and I have pictures of their, some of their kids. So right now, I'm trying to trace where each sister or brother moved to after that incident. Because my family, my great-grandmother, she had already moved around 1914, 15 to Waldo.
I see.
Because of the railroad station there.
Mm-hmm.
And so she was already gone when it happened.
It happened in
But a lot of
23.
the other families were, her brothers and sisters were still there.
Yes, yes.
So I'm trying, right now, I'm trying to find out where each family member moved to, where they settled.
I want you to move over and let us in and show them your
Not only just the Bradleys, but the Bowens and
Yes, the other
Edwards.
family, the Robinsons, the Carriers, and Edwards, as you said, yes. Uh-huh. So, your parents, how did they relate to Rosewood?
Well, my mother, she,
Yeah, that's pretty. Now
her mother was born in Rosewood. She was second child born to Lucy and
Oh,
Atkins.
joy, that's
They
joy.
married in Rosewood.
That's so
And the
beautiful.
other kids, so they moved to Waldo, and so around 1914, 11 kids were born there. I think maybe 3 kids. So they were the 2 oldest. So my mother is on my mother's side, where this is my past history.
Yes, yes.
Rosewood.
Right.
Yeah, what
But
a
you know
rich
what?
history.
When
Yes.
Yes, well, what would you like to say to the audience to remember
Rosewood.
Rosewood?
Website,
How would you like for them to remember Rosewood?
That's a good question.
Or maybe it's too many questions in one.
Well, there's
How would you like for them to remember?
Well, right now, there's only a sign up in Rosewood, and there's a scholarship offered in recreation for the tragedy.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of injustice done in that period. There's the Americans built from, I guess, they first came to America. So I really would just like them to just keep an open heart on the same tragedies that happen all over the world.
Absolutely.
Because Rosewood was one thing, and then just going into Africa, taking over the countries, because there's different languages in different African countries.
Different cultures, yes. But some of the same type of atrocities.
Yeah.
And
And not only in Africa, but in Europe,
in this country,
Syria, yeah.
right here in this country, they're just not getting reported as often. But they are really happening. We're still dealing with lynchings and other issues that we shouldn't.
Yeah, the young black man in the
Yes, ma'am, she only worked like
just
2
so
days out of the
tragic.
week because she can't get to
It is young here right here,
just lay down.
Tell me a little bit about your career.
Well, I've been in IT about 25 years. Hopefully I'll be retiring one day soon, so I could spend more time on genealogy, because I've been interested in that, like you said, since roots. It's just fascinating to try to understand how different scripts, writing that they did. It's not print, it's the courtesy writing, and then understand the jobs. So it's really fascinating. I'm just fascinated about it.
I hear you. Well, you're making a strong contribution.
Okay.
Definitely by doing the genealogy and sharing it with other people here at the Rosewood family reunion. This is wonderful. I'm sure they're very appreciative.
Yes, because I only found out about the reunions in maybe 2008, but my first attendance was in 2012. And I think it was the 25th annual Rosewood reunion hosted by one of my cousins.
Well, it grows every year.
Yeah.
And on the website, from time to time, people will send us a message and wanted to know. And I used to pass it on to Janie to try to verify who this person used to be, and she contacted me. And so several people have been located just by the website alone.
Awesome. And I discovered my other Bradley cousins. Like, okay. So I really didn't even know the relatives under one family tree that the Lucy Atkins branch. Because there was like 5 girls and 6 girls and 1 boy. I didn't even know the cousins until 2006.
Each year it just opens it up and brings forth more people. And I'm so pleased that it's bringing a lot of young people.
Yes.
Yeah, so that they can keep the word and the history alive. When I was coming in today, this young man asked me, "What is Rosewood?" And I have a shirt on with the Rosewood. He said, "What is Rosewood?"
Wow.
And so we had a conversation. And hopefully he would remember what Rosewood happens to be. He was here. And I'm sure it's with his family, but what was Rosewood? What's on your shirt?
Just thinking if Rosewood existed today, what it would be like. I just can only imagine.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Keeping the reunions is keeping Rosewood the town of all. Rosewood is our heart, our spirit. So have a Rosewood.
Absolutely. I'm very pleased that they're keeping the history alive. And it has done a lot to help other atrocities. So many others have occurred, and they ask people from Rosewood what happened. How were you able to get restitution? When so many other organizations have not.
Right.
It's what you're doing is different. Sometimes we don't know. And each situation has to be laid out for itself as to how. But these people lost their land, they lost their citizenship, they lost their education, so they had to be moved, they were in fear. All of these things occurred, and yet occurring with other families and situations in this country today.
Yes, I know Forsyth County, Georgia, when Oprah back in the 80s was there.
Oh yeah, Forsyth County, yes indeed.
And I had friends there in the area, in the Atlanta area, that had friends that parents lost everything. They had to leave in the middle of the night, just closing it back.
Yeah, that was in 1905 when they had the riot in they talked about the riot in Atlanta.
No, this the
Forsyth. Yeah, the Forsyth. Yeah, that's right. People didn't have to leave that area. Yeah, Forsyth County, Georgia, right there, suburb of Atlanta.
And in Tulsa, Oklahoma, where the storekeeper, storekeepers losing business because of the black storekeepers just getting all the support in the black communities.
It's been like some time, even into prison. I want to thank you for taking the time to share some of your family history, giving the names of your family, and your family is also helping to support this family reunion.
Yes, right.
The Marys, yes, and the Atkins.
Yes,
So that is very well respected. And also I took time to look up the gravestone, and it had Rosewood on your grandmother's?
Yes, great grandmother's.
Yeah, I copied that off just yesterday.
Okay, at the Waldo Cemetery.
At the Waldo Cemetery, yes, it's online. And Rosewood, so it would be so wonderful if all the people were in Rosewood, so when you do a search on the computer, it would come up. That would be something that we should consider for Tombstone, making sure.
Also, I know the Goins live in West Palm. There's a church where a lot of the when they people that escaped, their lives, they went here, there, everywhere, but some ended up in the slums. So there's a church where a lot of the members attend, and then they have a cemetery, and I think I'm not sure if there's a marker about the Rosewood survivors. It's located there because when we had the family reunion in Orange County, So I remember he used to call. He's trying to go to his family.
That's it. That's good to know.
A lot of them settled in that area.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. It's very fortunate that they could kind of stick together and have some cohesiveness and be able to share some of the struggles that the families have gone through. Well, again, I wish to thank you for your time. And today is July 22nd of 2017, and we are in Archer, Florida, at the Archer Community Center. This is the first stop of the train out of Rosewood in 1923 in Alachua County. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right.